Good afternoon. My name is Carol Zaricor, and I'm in the Occupational Therapy Doctorate Post-Professional Program. My capstone project is on interprofessional collaboration, and the title is Interprofessional Collaboration Begins with Interprofessional Education. I would like to acknowledge those that have really helped me through this project, especially Dr. Snyder, who gave me the incentive to go forward and believed enough in me that I could do it when I didn't believe in myself. Dr. Crowder, who has outlined this process and made it as smooth as possible, as well as Dr. Gergen, who has been there step by step with me along the way, and has been a wonderful mentor in this process. Also, faculty at MCC that has been there with me through the presentation of the project and the training activities. This all started when I wanted to try and develop a standardized patient program because I was having difficulty getting the students involved in case studies. We have a sim lab at the school, and I wanted to make it as real as possible so that they would be ready for field work. The practicals that were done were originally done by students role playing, and I didn't think that that was a very standardized process. So I really wanted to try and involve all the staff and faculty at MCC to try and let's get something together so we can do standardized patients and have some more realistic practicals. However, finding that I didn't have as much buy-in from other faculty as I was expecting, it was a little shocking. So I wanted to see if there was some way to get more buy-in to this activity. And after turning in my proposal, it came back that maybe I should start with interprofessional education, which was a phenomenal idea. And the problem with that is no one at MCC has really, or at least no one in the healthcare professions has worked with any type of interprofessional education process. And so the significance to OT is the fact that no one really understood what OT was or how we impact the patient, and I wanted to be able to express that and get them all on board with the idea that we can work together. Also, there was, I wanted to make sure that I was theoretically sound when I was presenting this capstone project, and so that I could actually base it off of theory for those that were not so positive about the experience. Recently, administration has been pushing for marketable skills and that our students graduate with the marketable skills to be effective in the community. And so this was my chance to shine, because one thing that we do know is that practitioners in the field need to be competent. Competence and marketable skills go hand in hand when you're looking at graduating practitioners, and for patient safety, we want to make sure that they are ready and prepared. And how better do that than to practice those skills together in the professions, just like they're going to be doing that in the clinic, and do that in our sim lab. So I got the buy-in then at that point from administration. And so I finally got the purpose behind the project that I wanted written down in a really good, understandable sentence. And so I know I'm not supposed to read from the slides, but this kind of, it does incorporate everything that I wanted to achieve. And I'm going to read this one thing for you. To develop an evidence-based, theory-driven faculty training event aimed to facilitate interprofessional education integration into the health professions division at MCC, and ultimately produce a healthcare workforce prepared for intercollaborative practice. There's a lot of literature regarding intercollaborative practice, and most of it is based on 4 competencies, which include value and ethics for interprofessional collaboration or working together with mutual respect and shared value. Roles and responsibilities, understanding the roles and responsibilities of each of the parties that are involved. Interprofessional communication, developing communication skills, understanding how to communicate between different professions and within your own profession. And teams and teamwork, how to work in a team and how to be part of a team, which is not always taught in the didactic courses during the professional trainings. So in the literature review that I found, it was quite interesting. When I'm looking for faculty training opportunities or teaching strategies that are out there, they're all different, and they're usually found at the university level or in medical schools. That's when they start teaching collaborative practice, but there's still not a standardized education protocol, if you will, for faculty training. There's very little. It's almost like the faculty just decide what they're going to do and do it. So there's really not a specific guide to that. And that a lot of times is learned through experience, on the job experience. So the practitioners never really were taught from trained faculty. And so with interprofessional education, what I found was there is nothing at the community college level. And the majority, or a large portion of allied health, is an associate level degree. So you're not getting a lot of that experience at the associate level. And with the instructional design, those were all over the place. They were either from online, self-taught, very few face-to-face trainings were there, and there was only one even mentioned that I could find from a community college level. So what did I decide from all of the reviews and the literature? I decided to develop this in a 2-part process because I had to find out what was needed on our campus. So I needed to have a platform to find out where the campus stood on interprofessional education. So I presented a proposal for we have a professional development day each semester, and I wanted to do just an introduction to interprofessional education just to get an idea, and I ran a needs assessment at that point. And called the professional development day was more of an orientation to interprofessional education. So once I got the results from my needs assessment, I then developed the Faculty Summer Institute, which was a 4-day event based on the needs assessment found during professional development day. And I used a satisfaction survey following the Faculty Summer Institute to determine the outcomes. So the participants, and this is quite interesting, participants during Professional Development Day included criminal justice faculty, medical assistant, med lab tech, English, computer technology, philosophy department. Some of those same people attended Faculty Summer Institute, but also we had members from history, government, biology, respiratory therapy, hospitality management, math, Spanish, public speaking, library science, deaf interpreter training, sociology, music, and agriculture. So as you can see, there was a wide variety of faculty from across the campus. The sad part is that there were only 3 participants from the health professions. So that caused or that led to an interesting training. So what did I find with the needs assessment results from Professional Development Day? I found that 53% of those attending thought that the environment was a drawback to the ability for them to participate in interprofessional education. Only 16% thought that it was a people problem. And 31% thought that it was more of a knowledge-based, or their job would not allow for it. So as you notice, this is using the PEO model of practice is what I used to develop my my questionnaire. So I wanted to find out what the limitations were based on the person, environment, occupation model of practice with occupational therapy. And basically over half thought that the environment was a problem. So what did I find on that needs assessment? And how did I use it? The trans-theoretical model of change was also the basis for my needs assessment, and I devised a 15-question survey based on a survey that was done at a medical school as well, and I changed the terminology to fit our community college area. And the first 8 questions would be considered in the attitude stage of change, according to the trans-theoretical model. The next 4 would be the intention stage, and the last 3 would be the action stage. So in the attitude stage, and the way that this is determined as far as what stage of change the group was in, is you take the attitude stage answers and subtract the intention and action stage positive answers. And if the attitude stage answers are higher, then they are in the attitude stage versus the intention or action stage. And according to this the survey, the group did fall into the intention stage of change. For example, which means that they have contemplated doing this, doing interprofessional education, and they are interested in doing it, and they think that they might want to do it, but they haven't actually started yet. So I had to devise my training based on trying to get them more knowledgeable and ready to make that change. Or in other words, I needed to give them a carrot to make them want to change. So what we did, we developed a blog to be used as the platform for the Faculty Summer Institute. Every member had access to the blog, and they needed to respond every day to some sort of reflection questions. These are some pictures here from some of the ones that participated in the project. And we had very strong results from the Faculty Summer Institute. They either agreed or strongly agreed with the majority of the survey questions, including my students can benefit from interprofessional education, and that was one of the majority of people felt strongly about that. So the results did turn out to be very positive. Some of the objective responses that I received stated they had new collaborative opportunities, collaborating and encouraging, and it got them out of their comfort zone, gained a deeper understanding of interprofessional education. It inspired them. It required them to be creative. It was meaningful, productive, and motivating. Again, collaborations, and that this could be so beneficial for all the students. It taught them to think outside of their box. And one stated, we tend to forget the rest of the world exists. And that's kind of the silo uh, mentality. And she said, make corrections early, and those connections would spill into their worldview. So I was very pleased in some of these responses, and this is only a few, so there's quite a few more that you can find on the blog site itself. So in discussion, there were lots of gaps in the literature. I think there's very little information regarding the community college level, which was, I mean, I feel like we're kind of pioneering this, and really sad to see that people get stuck in their ways of teaching, and they're not preparing the students to be out there collaborating. Some other limitations that were it was surprising and frustrating, but it just shows the need to even be out there more and try to get interprofessional education, and that is the fact that there was lack of participation. I had very few participants from the healthcare professions, and that's not a good sign. The possibility is from maybe the timing of it or how it was presented, the length of it. All of those things can be considered, but I can say that those that were from the health professions that participated were very pleased and ready to go back and do some of this work. So some future considerations for change, considering that possibly I need to do some more selling to administration and show the need and how this affects ultimately the patients. I think there needs to be more information regarding patient safety and the need for interprofessional education. There's a lot of that information regarding collaboration in practice, but how does collaboration in practice tie into interprofessional education, and is there a connection? So some of the things that came out of this project, there is now a training guide and a booklet that obviously can be improved upon, but is a good start. Sociology, history, and respiratory therapy departments, their collaboration was phenomenal, and it was on a values and ethics teaching opportunity for their students, teaching them about bias, and it is definitely a winner in my book. The medical lab and the English faculty worked together and developed the project requiring student communication between both courses regarding writing skills. So one of the competency areas for interprofessional collaboration is communication, and that was the competency that they focused on. And I found this one to be really interesting. The Spanish instructor and criminal justice instructor worked together to develop a Spanish Miranda rights, and I thought that was kind of that was very interesting. So the students would be working together to learn Spanish and how to speak the Miranda rights in Spanish. And the Library Science and Hospitality group developed a brochure for handicapped people to be able to understand what they might need to ask for when they go to a hotel, and I thought that was fabulous. I was wanting to be a part of that as OT. And that was another thing with all of those, OT can fit into all of those. And I was constantly finding myself going, oh, can I help with that? Can I help with that? Because I think all of those involve some form of occupation. So occupational therapy can definitely be a huge part, and it can be the glue a lot of times in an interprofessional education opportunity. So looking back over my project, I do believe that I have found that interprofessional collaborative practice does begin and can begin with interprofessional education. I think we need to definitely integrate this into our community colleges. And significance to the profession, it's going to bring about a deeper understanding of the role of OT in the team. And it's going to also show how important it is. And with other professions, the other professions will also be able to see how important they are among the team. And I do believe that there's further research. I could take this project even further to look and see if this is truly what the project meant to be, as far as how do I know if the needs assessment was actually the needs of those that, the needs assessment from Professional Development Day was actually the needs of those that participated in the Faculty Summer Institute. I don't think there was a large enough, I don't think that there was enough participants to truly see what the need across campus is. So trying to get more and more involvement would be nice, and to do more of a pre and a post assessment, just to see how much did each individual grow within the experience, and did it help them? What did they actually use the information? I would like to make this more of a longitudinal study to see if they actually used the project and how the students felt about it. So there's a lot more that could be done from here. But overall, this has been a wonderful experience, and I cannot thank everyone enough for supporting me, helping me with this, and I look forward to your comments. Thank you.